by God's grace, transformed into a very beautiful chapter. Now I don't know how to call you, if I should call you the business bazaar chapter or the business making chapter. But as I sat there, the word that came to me was the chapter that revives. Look at it and see how the Lord himself will help nurture a big level of transformation. When it comes to revival, it means people walk in here and they are going to leave with something better. So you can come in with your pains, come in with your heads, come in with anxiety, and because you meet the Lord, you are going to leave with a testimony. And that alone is what is going to make us populate this place. So we'll not see too many angels. The angels are waiting out there, and every chair will be occupied by people. And that is the next level which the Lord himself is pushing us. So we are going to be talking about something you already know, because big kudos to Mr. Chair and all the big men who made it happen. And I'll be honest to admit that you helped CDB. I'm sure they've been thinking of what and what you've done has helped them know what they have to do. So you give them a nice prototype. And God being so good, in September, when we have the Greater Accra Convention, we are going to use your prototype and we'll do another business So if Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice, you are on those committees, don't be surprised. You've gone through the motion of it. So prepare well. So we are going to flow. We'll look at creating, building, and maintaining business relationships. I'll try and then be as less talkative because there are a lot of business people here. So we'll move to the next slide. Yeah. There are a lot of business people. So we'll be tapping into your anointing. We'll share your insights. So I'll share a brief testimony. We'll look at an overview. We'll look at 11 ways to create and build business relationships. Then we'll look at 6 steps to maintain. Then there will be a conclusion and Q&A. Yesterday I shared a similar thing. Since you know me here, my testimony will be far briefer because essentially God brought me into full gospel because I thought I was coming to look for business, but God had bigger plans for me. So I don't know who you are and what brought you here. But remember, if you invited yourself to full gospel and you're still here, you have a task. You have to make sure you bring more people to come and benefit from this. Because the beauty is God has a gift for everyone. And I always remember when I met Eric way back, and when Eric got to where he's got into, because he took a step, decided that I know I can do this, let me record. So look at the gift God has given you and use it. For me, it's about my grace being able to talk to you. So like I said, we know how to market. We have, when it comes to your bin, we can say some things. And being a banking salesperson is not easy. But what made it work for me here was there was something I needed to do. I had a target to meet, and I didn't know how I was going to meet it. God took me to 6 chapters, and then Labone grabbed me that no, this guy will be part of us. And before the end of that year, all the businesses I went to prospect, the Lord brought a big breakthrough. Some monies that I didn't expect. It was basically meet your target. So I remember Cantonese chapter was where I spoke. And then just after I finished, I had this opportunity here. One member said, oh, we have a potential account we want to open in a bank, but the processes are rigorous. And I think this was possibly in June or July of that year. So we went through the motions, praying, gave them the forms, everything. And then 31st December of that year, 1.5 million dropped from that company to add to our deposits. And this was a 10-month-old branch. And that money made us the 7th most profitable out of 25 branches under 10 months. Now, if you have that testimony and you came in looking for business, God gives you that breakthrough. I don't know if you will ever leave such a wonderful fellowship. So if you are here, stay and bring more people. Let them see that our God really reigns. So we'll go to the next one. If you have your Bibles, you can turn to Ecclesiastes 4. We read verse 9, we read verse 10, and then 12. And this is just to let us know that when it comes to businesses, God has a nice principle. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. That's 1. And then 4:10 If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who does not have someone to help. And then the last, 4:12, though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. With this passage, I want us to remember that in every business endeavor, make sure God is the third person. Also, when it comes to marriage, make God the third person. We often make a mistake of trying to explore other avenues, other opportunities. But if you're in any business, if you're even thinking of who do I need to partner, see God's face and He will guide you. We'll move to the next one. So overall, when we look at any kind of business relationship, remember, trust is a critical fulcrum, and it works around reliability, sincerity, integrity, consistency, commitment, and competence. When you are trying to develop any business, this is what everyone looks out for. For your business to survive, they need to trust you. And that's why some banks are standing and some could not stand. What was the critical missing link? Was it that people felt, no, things are not going to go well, or things will go well? In the same way, if you have a business, people need to know that they can trust you. And that's why I love that Sir Frank was mentioning the products there. And as he mentioned the sweetness of the Tom Brown, and that's the porridge, yeah. I'm not a typical Tom Brown fan, but my wife has been enjoying it with the children very well, and she's been given a lot of props. So automatically, in terms of trust, you've gotten 3 or 4 people, and what Sir Frank said. Now we are online, so you can imagine the number of people. So possibly next week, when we go online, come and hold the Tom Brown here and give a testimony about the Tom Brown business. And you see people will come and link, and that's how business will push. We'll move to the next one. So we'll be looking at 11 areas. We'll talk about authenticity. We'll talk about sharing goals and values. We'll also look at developing mutual respect. There's a need to share vulnerability, so we'll talk about it. There's a need for your partner to know that you've got their back. And then we'll look at meaningful connections, need to get more personal, plan something fun to do together, let go of expectations, schedule brainstorming time, and then the last one will be offer something before asking for something. If you have any questions, kindly note it, and then we'll delve into it. Because Sir Frank will be answering a lot. He's a businessman. I'm coming to be a businessman, so I'll be learning from him. Yeah. So first one, when it comes to any business prospect, people want to see the true you. And some of us are living a double life. There are some who have a very beautiful Instagram page, but the car is for his uncle. And they say, that's my car. And it's a very silly car. So people think that the guy has a lot of money. But every time they meet the guy, he's either walking or dropping from the Uber. When they access the car, he says it's under maintenance or servicing or whatever. So it means you're living a double life. Now, if you want to find a good business partner, they need to know you, and they need to trust you, and authenticity will sell you. So be you. Try to avoid being a people pleaser and putting up a certain condition which is not really you. Eventually it will come out. But let everyone see that this is it. So there's a lot of honesty, there's transparency. And the last line talks about your personality, your beliefs, your points of view. There should be a clear way for everyone to know that when it comes to this is how you are. What principles are you aligned to? What do you hold critical? Are you those who bend the rules easily, or you are fair? When they say A is A. This is very, very critical. And that's what will attract you to getting the right kind of people. In Ghana and beyond, people are looking for those to work with, but they want to see. So on your LinkedIn page, what makes people know that you are really you? What do you write there? What comments do you put there? What are you projecting? All those drives home how authentic you are. And the more authentic you are, the easily you can get the right kind of people coming to you. If you are not authentic, if you are fake, eventually someone will see. Just imagine, in our social media world, before I realize the whole world knows that, oh, it wasn't true. You've lost a big opportunity. So that's the first one. We'll look at the second, which is about identifying goals and shared values. Often it's very easy to work with people who know you and understand you. And I would say that's what makes being in food gospel exciting. Especially being in this chapter, a lot of us know ourselves. So it's easy for us to know that, oh, when I'm working with Frank, I will do 1, 2, 3. He's not likely to say, let's go to this clubhouse and then blow money. No. He rather advise, how can we save money? And one thing I've learned from him is, especially spending. I'm typically someone who doesn't waste time in making payments because I don't like doing things and then I'll stagger. I like to write quickly and then I know I'm done. But he's taught me a lot. So there are times where we want to pay our friends down there, wait a few more weeks, and the money is working. And through that you realize, yeah, that's prudence. You're able to actually save than to have your money running out of your account so often. And this is how we can actually look at sharing certain values. Through this, you get to learn something new, and then it builds you up. So someone may be here, maybe you like spending so much. You see a new suit you buy, new shoe you buy, and then possibly before the end of the month you're broke, you don't know why. But God will bring someone your way who start letting you see that, do you really need this shoe? Do you really need this suit? And then you start saving more. And that is what makes being in that kind of partnership work. Now through that, you can actually get to be collaborating, you are sharing ideas, and you are building up on certain potentials you didn't have. So if you have shared goals and values, you're able to connect with people and you can build bigger businesses just because of those goals. So it's important. Look out for people who think like you, and look out for people who share certain insights that will put your mind at a different level. We'll look at the third one, and that's about mutual respect. One thing I'll say is, for any business to thrive, and this is you trying to create, you need to respect who you are with. There are some people in a certain form of partnership, and what happens is, this person is doing this, this person is doing that. There's no collaboration. Even how they speak to themselves, it's not appealing. But I remember even as the business bazaar was going on, that was a form of relationship where people are sharing ideas, and the cordiality, it makes you love working with each other. And I'm sure those who are on that committee have now learned something new about each other. And that is what will make you know that, okay, this was business bazaar. So if sets automobile industry and insurance and so needs a certain partner who can connect with this. He knows he can connect with chairman, he knows he can connect with Pastor Me, and that's how you be building. And if you are working with mutual respect, just imagine how you'll be flowing. Those who don't work on that level, you'll be surprised. A normal discussion will enter into an argument before you realize everyone leaves and there's no progress. So as much as possible, no matter where you find yourself, try and then keep that cordiality, and you'll be excited about what you'll be able to do. The fourth is about vulnerability. It's often difficult, but sometimes you need to be transparent with who you are with. And when you are trying to build business relationships, you need your partner to know what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. And you need to apply a certain form of logic, because ask yourself, how much is too much information and how much is too little information? You don't need to see everything, because this is business. So maybe you have an international partner, someone from the UK, who wants to partner Sedu now, and you'll be bringing this and that and that. That's not the time for you to say, I have taken loans from this number of institutions and I can't pay back and this and this. The person will automatically start thinking, hey, is this the right person to deal with? But you can open up and say, I like to work, maybe I'm a workaholic, and I work 24/7. That's something that will make people know that, okay, this is someone who loves working. Another could be, when it comes to financial management, I like to be prudent, but sometimes I make certain moves which after some few weeks, I come back and ask myself, wow, why did I do this? Why did I do that? So these are some of the things that you can open up. So think logically, ask yourself, is this information I should cascade? And through that, you are trying to at least open up. So that it won't be a surprise if maybe after 2 or 3 years, certain things happen and your partner will look at you and say, wow, now Now, why didn't you tell me this when we started? So try to be open, but apply logic, wisdom, and coherence. We'll move to point 5. This is one of my favorites. I've got your back. There are some partners you would regret being in partnership with because possibly he's a financier. So he gives funds to you and you are the thinker. So you are the strategist. So the money comes and you use it and they are making profit. But what happens when, for some reason, the money delays in coming due to certain things? We all went through the COVID experience. Post-COVID, we know what's happening. Inflation here and there. Now, at that stage, is it going to be the time where you say, hey, I've made some gains, so I'm going to move on. You don't have the money again, so let me go my way, start my own business, and then you survive on your own. Automatically, I'm not giving the impression you've got their back. But in any business relationship, you need for whoever you're partnering to know that in good times, in tough times, we will be working together. That way, they know that this is a partnership that can survive every 10 years. Because remember, you can never predict how things will be. And as we know, the CD fluctuating. Maybe now it seems to be losing against the foreign currencies. But who knows, next year it could be another twist. And possibly now we are talking about all the taxes, e-levy here, etc. One thing that caused my delay was some e-levy analysis I had to do. And then I even made a mistake and sent the wrong data. And I sent it as someone and I had to resend the data and then explain to someone. So while standing here, said Frank was praying, I was doing all that. But fortunately, someone who has got my back, so he responded in the affirmative. And I said, yeah. So although we are not in a partnership of business, that's an e-levy partnership. And he's telling me, no worries. So let people trust you. And that's what will help you create and build a lasting relationship. We'll move to 6. It's important to network, and especially at the business bazaar, possibly because it was the first for us. I wasn't the one who was really networking. I don't know how many of us took time to go to every stand, possibly took all the complimentary cards. Sometimes you don't call them, but just keep it. You never know. There will be an event where you remember that, I have this one. And it's something we often don't do. But you'll be surprised at how someone you meet in a year, 2 years, or even shorter will give you a call, will give you a business deal, simply because there was an engagement. So as much as possible, don't take those opportunities like, I don't want too many people to have my contact. Let your contact be there, because someone could be your breakthrough to the next level. And if you fail to connect, you will not even know. So sometimes engage, discuss, share ideas. Through that, you are networking, you are building your capacity, and people are saying that, wow, there's something about this person I didn't know. In our fellowship, when we come here, don't be among those who are first to leave. I remember way back, that's something I used to do. Once, that's maybe before they give you an appointment. So in those days, we were afraid to be appointed early. So, prayer director, assistant treasurer, we finish, and while his banner of us is going, you are near the exit. As soon as you finish, you're out. You are sit, wait, engage. Someone may say, oh, are you going my way? They'll sit down, and for all you know, they'll start talking about something. And before you realize, you can be building a certain business relationship. So let us not take networking for granted. Let's push and push it on. We'll move to point 7, which is get more personal. And this talks about sharing ideas, experiences, etc. I always say, Fugos, what makes it nice is our testimonies makes it personal. Because someone will come and open up and say, I went through this. You won't get it anywhere. And these days I've realized some churches are trying to use the same strategy. So in their breakfast meetings, the testimony format is similar to ours. Last Saturday, for instance, I was at Richard. Interestingly, the 2 testifiers are full gospel members. Dr. Ayungo and her father, who used to be the Kolebu chapter president, I'm sure some 15, 20 years ago. And honestly, as I sat there, listened to them, I was excited because I said, someone may think full gospel is not going places or full gospel is not there. But if you have people who are in full gospel sharing testimonies in the church. And the format is exciting for people to sit there for almost 3 hours. They realize God is using full gospel or something. So don't take full gospel for granted. And don't take the lapel. If you have yours, be wearing it. Let someone identify you. Mine is not this one because I've passed this level. I'm supposed to be this thing, $1, but when I got it, I didn't know that is how you should keep the pin. That's why sometimes these days they don't give you that pin early, because sometimes you need to know that this is what the pin is for. You get it so early, you just hang it there, it gets lost there. But understand what full gospel is about and get it there. So about being personal, it's basically we opening up and letting people understand the true you. It's never easy, but let your ideas speak for you. Let your vision come clear. Let people know you as God has made you. And be surprised at how it will impact many lives. So use the full gospel model in any business engagement. Don't feel like, let me keep it, but be open, be transparent, let some things out, and let people see you as God wants you to. And you'll be revealing yourself, touching a heart, and anytime there's any decision, we will call you into that meeting. Even your offices, let that light shine that any decision that needs to be taken, you are the one they want. They like your idea, they like your feedback, and we're making a big impact. 8, plan something fun to do. We've been doing it, so breakfast meeting is always exciting. And these are some of the things that break the ice. Invite your business partner or invite a prospective business partner. So there's someone you are thinking of doing something with. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. Buy a ticket for the person. Let him come in here, and you'll be surprised at how that life transformation will make a big difference in that life. And through that, your business will flourish. Don't be amongst those who will say, oh, this is the breakfast, and that's for other people. The 30 people, and they know who they are. I'm not going to be, I'm the 35th, so I'm not part. Be part of the 30, come, join, and let people come and join us, and we'll be inspired by what happens. Number 9, let go of expectations. It's often difficult, but whenever you are getting into any business partnership, try to be objective and don't think everything you're expecting is what will happen. Make room for certain things. And it's part of life. There's never going to be a time where you may think, oh, all things will go as planned. So you want to enter into maybe a real estate business, and you are the financier, the other person is the contractor or architect, and certain things are expected. You think because you've put in 1 million, you should get this benefit. Certain things will happen. So try and not be highly expectant so that you'll be too disappointed and say, I'm not getting into any business again. And I'm sure someone like Sir Frank can share testimonies of how certain businesses were started, the experiences that happened. And that's why I want to tap into to know, what did you experience, so that if there's a bottle I shall avoid, I will avoid. And when it comes to building a relationship, make sure your expectations are at a lower level. Next one is schedule brainstorming time. And in this, it's very, very simple. It's about sitting down and asking yourself, what can we do to make the best out of this business? And sometimes you just need to go sit somewhere and be reflective. And I always say, that's why certain companies, most banks, financial institutions, insurance companies, when the year is about ending, November, December, they decide to go somewhere. They will go and play games, do things, and most of those who don't get to go will say, yeah, they're going again. But sometimes when you go there, you're breaking the ice, and you're trying to think exploratively. What can we do this time to make things better? And I believe Labone chapter, due to the creativity and the creative juices being inspired, maybe this year, which is the nicest place to go? Sajuna. And then, okay, how about...
I was thinking Santorini.
Oh, you see the place is big, so just think about it. Book the place, we'll come and join, and we'll relax. Let's get somewhere. You will be able to think about certain great things that can help us not only win members, but things to do to make full gospel stand out. By God's grace, you are the light in full gospel. A certain chapter used to be mentioned, but now the light is here. So let the grace of God magnify the light more and more to His glory. So when you go and sit in the brainstorming session, the Holy Spirit will give you more ideas. This we did business bazaar. The next one is international. What? Yes. So just think of something and push it there. 11. Always remember, in every business venture, don't go always to push, but offer something. Yesterday, I think we had about 2 or 3 examples of people giving those insights. Let's say you are a fresh starter, you are trying to win customers. Don't be the ones who always push and make it seem like this is what I'm offering you. Take it or leave it. Sometimes you try and then blend it with a lot of dynamism. So, for instance, I want to win a new business deal, but getting through has been a challenge. And every time I try to call and book an appointment, I don't get it. But maybe there's someone there I know. You can use a certain nice place, and I would say that's why full gospel is there. Certain invitations, certain chats, certain engagements can help someone realize there's something about you. So sometimes you have a company you're trying to push, and you know what they are into. You can give them certain ideas, certain hints. Have you explored this? Are you thinking about this? Offer something to them, let them realize that you're not in just trying to pitch business, but you're also trying to help their business grow. Automatically they'll realize, okay, you are coming with a certain different angle. You might as well consider you for other things. And true that you're winning a deal. And anyone in national service or those who are starting work, before you rise to the top, let the top know that there's something about you which is unique. So be willing to offer suggestions, ideas. Let your boss look good. And when the boss gets a praise, you say, I want to keep this person for the long haul. And it's about how we offer something before asking. Most of the time we ask, we don't offer. But to keep a business relationship going, offer, and you see how the Lord will magnify it. So I'll jump into the final, that's the 6 steps to maintain business relationships. I'll touch on these quickly, and then we'll have our Q&A. So network, always make sure, especially to maintain your business. Now your business is there, is growing, and you want to get more. And I don't know how many people do it, but there are certain companies, every event, they make sure they send a representative. So someone is in this business fair, someone goes to this business bazaar, this conference, and they are making themselves visible. Sometimes if you even have a branded t-shirt, go there like that. And that's why I like the t-shirts in the back. So those who thought they bought it just for business bazaar, let's keep wearing it every time. When we go somewhere, let people see and ask you, what is this about? And that's how you network. So don't be isolating yourself. Click, connect. Yeah. If you can pick cards, pick them and then send them WhatsApp messages. These days, people do it too much that sometimes you get to a stage where they will even block you. So try and then apply a certain, I'm sure it's at the last bit, we'll talk about it. Yeah. And then try and get a lot of information. Most of the businesses that are crumbling early because they don't think proactively. Try and then know, how can I keep my business surviving? Try and then pick information of other companies surviving. So the big companies, Apple, Microsoft, this, that. What have they done to sustain the business? And learn from those things. So if it's Coke, if it's Pepsi, what unique thing? In Ghana, there are a lot of them. So what is Millennium Insurance doing that's keeping them going? What is this company doing? And that is how you can make your small business grow from 1 year to 2 years, 2 to 3, 3 to 5, 10 to 15, and you just keep going. Learn likes and dislikes. In order to maintain business relationships, know your customers. So try and then get deep into who you serve. Ultimately, everything is about your relationship. And that's why you need to know, what do they want and how do I offer this? If you don't learn the likes and dislikes, you'll be surprised. You will think your customer likes this, but he actually dislikes it. And within a short time, he's left you. So once your business is there, understand your customers. And these days, there's a lot of analytical tools that can help you pick feedback. And sometimes you can even do this online service. So go on Facebook, just put a few questions online and get people to respond, and you'll be picking some new insights. You can also, possibly are trying to win the market, put an open question there. Get people who are not your customers to give feedback. You know, okay, this is what people are looking out for. This is what I need to push. And you'll be surprised at how things will move. Ask a lot of questions. Don't be among those. That's why I love Sir Frank's initial comments about those. I'll start using it. Because there have been meetings, you go in there, and people just keep quiet. But if you second, at least your name will be on record. And I've now seen that a lot of documents, there are some people's names that they are always seconded. They never initiate. So I might as well add my name to that name. But try and ask questions, and sometimes ask the Holy Spirit to give a question that will be very thought-provoking. In a meeting, don't be among those who sit there and your eyes are looking like, okay, he's asleep or not asleep. Ask a question that will get the people looking at you and say, wow, so this smart boy or this smart lady is your dad. You'll be surprised. It will make a big impact. Listen and share. As people talk, pick out key insights. That's why it's always good to keep a certain notebook. Those who like using their phones like me, take your phone, write down some few points, and whatever you learn, pass it on. One thing I like doing is whenever I have these slides, I like to share. It's not that I'm afraid someone will use it. If you use it, it's to my credit. My name will not be there, but everyone knows the original, right? So if you are the copycat or the fake one or whatever, it's not that you are fake, but there's an original version and there's a duplicate. So if you don't mind sharing, you'll get more ideas and people can build up on it. So anytime there's an opportunity like listen, then try and share, learn from it and push. Finally, communicate regularly but appropriately. And that's why I said some people have lost opportunities. Possibly he's looking for a job, and then every day he now sends the person who maybe thinks is a savior. And God is good all the time. Tomorrow is God touches the heart of those. And you know, if you send this so often and the message is skewed in a certain direction, the person will just take a decision and then blacklist your number. But communicate. Do it appropriately. It means don't overdo it. Try and then blend it. When it comes to even sustaining your customer base, especially companies that send messages almost every day, you get to a stage where customers don't even read the messages because they feel they are doing it too much. But once in a while, maybe once in 2 weeks, once in 3 weeks, and then if there's a post, use a lot of Facebook, a lot of Instagram, a lot of LinkedIn, WhatsApp. These are ways you can make yourself visible. But and those aside data is quite affordable. It's now that WhatsApp is even trying to prevent those mass posts. But create groups, and then once in a while, maybe once every 2 weeks, send a message, get people to see that oh, the business is still there. And I think quite recently I was telling Moses, develop flyers. Fortunately, Eric is a professor of flyers. So as you see him, and this is a business relationship you can start, he'll give you tips on how to do it. From a flyer to a t-shirt, t-shirt to banner, banner to cooler. And then before long, this whole corridor has your business brand showing that this is the business. That's a very nice way of communicating. And before long, when we see you in events, we know that this day we spoke about this. The Lord bless your business. And now you are cruising in town. People are saying, hey, Charlie, people have money. And the Lord is going to do it. So let's see how, to His glory, we can work at keeping our businesses, sustain it. But remember, God has a purpose for your life. God knows what He's giving you. And God knows when He's going to open that door for you to be in it. So make sure, whatever you do, you see God's face. Whatever you do, you thank God for what He's giving you. And no matter what, no matter how high you rise, remain humble. Because that is what will push God to lift you higher. Thank you very much, and God bless us all. So at this point, like I said, Sir Frank will help me answer questions. He's a businessman. So if Okay.
Look, can I?
Yes,
Let me
sir.
start.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm sitting down and I'm thinking that I'm in an MBA class. And one thing that you said, the number 9, that spoke to me a little bit about expectations.
Yes.
About expectations. And you know, when I started my business, I had a partner. In fact, I still have a partner, but the partner in me. And you know, the partner is supposed to provide a couple of things. You get it. But it never brought what it should. You get it. But there was a time that he had some money, okay, and he brought it into the business. We just deposited it into the business, okay, and we're using it to trade. And at a point, we needed to register, okay, to be IATA. And we needed about $50,000. This money was, I think, about 50 or 60, something like that. So we're looking for the rest to add up to it. Would you believe it? We had a deadline to meet. He came and said, oh, you know, I need my money. I'm like, this is not the time that we. He said, no, but I didn't bring the business. I didn't bring the money for us to use it for this. You know, my everything shattered. You get it. But God, like you said, we always have to have a third person in the business. And that is God. When you go back to God and tell God that, you know what, man has failed me. You are the only one who can do it. God find a way. God find a way. And I like that bit that you said that we should keep our expectations low. Because if we're in for the fact that I knew God then, oh, I'm sure we would have fought. I'm sure I would have told him my peace of mind. I'm sure I would have just, you know. But even up to today, the friendship is there, we speak, but I don't expect anything from that person. You know? So I like that bit. I like that bit. I like that.
And there's a real life testimony. You see, that's full gospel for you. We'll tell you so that you realize, yes, it's not an MBA class, but a practical reality. Yeah. And that's it. That's it. And I think these are the experiences that we also need to always remember, so that when you're getting into your own business, you can plan well. Because it can be very painful, it can be very depressing. And that's why certain people even go off. Because just imagine, at the most crucial time, that you know this is the deadline. And that is man. Unfortunately, man is like that. So even the most trusted person at that moment can do that. But once it's God, you move one and put in a better one. The timing is always right. So no matter what your expectations are, always trust God to come in at the right time. It may delay, but don't give up. So we possibly wanted to start something. There have been too many delays, just don't know why. Keep trusting God at the right time. Or you know, maybe if it came before E11, something will happen. It will come after E11 because something else will happen. So just trust God. So any questions, any further? Pastor Nee, yes.
Thank you, Daddy.
Yes,
I have
sir.
a question.
Powerful.
Essentially, if you are a startup, if you are now starting a business, usually getting good business names is good. But one thing I realized is that in establishing the links and winning contracts, some people say when you get to some offices, some of the places you have to tip the people so that they can give you the contract. First of all, I want to find out, especially if you are now starting a business, in order to break into the market, those things, are they bribe or they are acceptable? That's the first question. And then secondly, I want to find out how, if it is not right, that is, if the first answer is that is not right, then my follow-up question is, how should it be done? Is there any guidance as to how it should be done? Thank you very much.
As you asked your question, I remembered Donald's testimony. And, you know, it's very nice, but that is where your principles would direct you. I remember we had the former president, Frank knows him very well, and he actually shared a testimony of why he decided not to use any means of handshaking or there's a number of terms. Yeah. Some use business promotion, yeah, and then some too will not say anything. It's just a nice envelope that will be slipped. So he will have his diary, and then the diary is on the desk, and he may leave the diary and then come for it the next day. But inside the diary had an envelope. So when you call and say, oh, you left this, he may tell you one or two things. People have a lot of funny things. Personally, I would avoid those. Yes. It's not easy, but I always say, if you are a child of God, let your light be seen. Because you never know when, maybe that day that you are passing the envelope, announce what the person is giving it to. And then there's a camera showing your face with a smile, passing on an envelope to an official, and then you've left too. His videos are always shown a year after, when we've long forgotten. Everyone will see that, the president of this, or the chairman of this, was doing this imagine. So, as much as possible, it's very hard, but walk with the Lord. Let the Holy Spirit guide you. And when those temptations come, when you need to even offer a bribe, pray into it, and the Lord will direct you to even avoid it. And it's not difficult at all. I always say it's a full gospel that maybe some have not really seen the benefits. But sometimes if you get to interact with other chapters, you'll be surprised to see that everyone you need to connect with is in a chapter. And that's why I always say, let's take advantage of the first Wednesday prayers. You will see people there. So you will meet someone who is a controller, you meet someone who is in this bank, someone who is in this insurance company, someone who is a foreign affairs. Once they know you're a full gospel member and they see this, even if you offer that envelope, you say, my brother, are you sure you are dealing with the right person? So that will put you in check. But anywhere you need to get to, know that God has a vessel who will work for you without collecting anything. So that's personally my, but it's a nice question. Let's open it up to others. Yeah. And then if you have testimonies, yes. Settle now.
Concerning what he said right now, there are some people, when you have a very good idea, and you realize that you hold that idea, and that idea will send you far, will kill your spirit by telling you that before you enter into this world, you are going to pay this, you are going to do that. They try to kill your spirit, and you will never achieve that dream. And once you begin to follow those people, you will never achieve a dream. Somebody may pay bribe or may tip somebody before getting something, and you may go. You don't even pay a dime, but you will get something. So we should always avoid people that tell us those things.
Beautiful. Yes. Okay, so we'll take Mr. Chair and then back to Pastor Lee.
I think I will share a testimony in that regard.
Nice.
I had a rental business which I was dealing with an international organization, which is UNHCR. And it was something like that, where it was a bid for possible competitors. So out of that, some were paying bribes. But I didn't have money to pay bribe. The only thing I could do was assure efficiency and then also tell them that I can deliver. Luckily, I partnered with Asante's coaches at the VIP, which they were ready to provide the buses, even showcase it on the day of the contract bidding. And it will surprise you that I won the contract.
Wow.
I won the contract because I wasn't in to get any bride. So I didn't have any strings. I was just bidding with my free mind, making sure, although they gave me a lot of pressure. The next day they told me the bus must be there 6 o'clock. It was pressure, but I made sure I delivered. And for a long time I dealt with them up to now. If you go to their records, I'm one of their most top supplier when it comes to coaches. And nobody asked me anymore. The transport manager was always not happy with me, but I knew that I'm not dealing with the transport, I'm dealing with the organization. And I dealt with them like that. And that's it. And you don't need to force yourself to go and pay money. When you know what you are doing is right, at the long run, at the beginning you may face challenges, but at the long run, it goes back, and then the person that wants the bride will be in trouble, but you will be the one to win the victory. So, just to encourage you that if they ask you for bride, tell them you are not ready to go there. They will know that your principles are, what you believe in is what you are following. Thank you.
Beautiful. So there's a comment on social media. You know, we are diversified.
Yeah.
So Mr. Rajab S. Musa said, good presentation. On the question of offering stroke facilitation, you must be intentional and be known not to ask, offer or take bribes in whichever way it is packaged. Better lose a business than compromise your values. So this is a comment on our Full Gospel page. Thank you so much, Eric. Yes, so the question is eliciting more insight.
Thank you very much. I actually asked that question because I had some experiences somewhere I was working before, which I stood my ground, that had to make me even leave the organization. So I had to switch jobs because of that pressure. So I just want to say this as a testimony. I don't want to mention the organization's name, but I just want to say this as a testimony that for the sake of keeping your godly values, you can lose anything, including business and any other business name. Once you are in business with God and you are in business with the principles and the values of the kingdom, you are good to go. Yes. And then I also said that because I had one testimony from our president in mind. One of the days he was coaching me on business, he shared a testimony that one of the former presidents of Laboni chapter, Mr. Abiachum, ever won a contract, and the contract he won was from Zimbabwe or something, a big time contract. And he went to him was like, how did you win this contract? Like, how did you do it? Because some of these contracts are the things we've been chasing and we are not getting. And then the man told him, he doesn't give any bribe, he doesn't collect. He has never done that before. It is God that leads him. So, like you said, the third person, once you are with the third person, you can establish very good business things without any foul means, without any bribery and corruption. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yes, Mr. Sir.
As a follow-up, so how do you distinguish between bribery and appreciation?
Nice. There's actually a question someone had posted here. God knows Agabus Amantepe. He said, so how do we curb these bribery matters? And it's a very solid question, it's a very, very solid point. So we'll make it as possibly the final question for all of us to think through and then ask ourselves. Firstly, how can you distinguish what becomes a bribe? And there are certain companies, I don't know if it's still happening, but we got to a time where end of year, the hamper will have some other packages, and certain hampers come with different contents. So those who are very influential, the packages are the ones that will make you enjoy Christmas, New Year, plus a few more months, etc. Yeah. I think when it comes to bribery and extra. And in relation to the person, he's a former MD for Europcar. He was the chapter president, and his testimony is always been shared. He and his brother have been doing a lot of businesses, and they were always clear to make it to virtually anyone they meet that avoid bias. I always say it's back to who are you? Are you a child of God? Hence you are in the light, or you are the others. Another one, whenever you are taking those decisions, remember, at any time, the trumpet will sound. If we all knew that the trumpet will sound tomorrow or next 30 minutes, I'm sure there's certain things we can do. But when it comes to those decisions, and they always say, even when someone is not seeing you, be careful what you do. So sometimes it could be a bribe. You put it in a diary. No one knows. Just the receiver and then yourself. God sees. And at any time, you will answer for it. So when it comes to these decisions, ask yourself, are you being the light or you're hiding your light? If you're hiding your light, that's when you will compromise. But if you know you're being the light, no matter how it is, and often that could be the most trying moment, because most of these things come when you are dry. Possibly that's when your account is empty, your pocket has just maybe 5 CBs or 0.000. And then that's when the envelope will be given to you, and then someone will say, a prayer answered. But the influence behind it will let you know that no, this cannot be a prayer answer. This is a temptation I must resist. And that's why we need to keep praying for each other. And that's why I always pray, because that could be the temptation that could mess you up and put you where you never thought you would be. So it's always a very dicey issue, but trust God and work in your life. Yes, Mr. President.
I just wanted to, you use the word, how do we differentiate between a gift and a bribe? Anything that has the potential to influence is friends. Anything that has the potential to influence is bribe. Whether you are receiving or giving. So the two things that you should be thinking about is the potential to influence. Those are the two things. Anything else can never be. So what is your mind? Are you going to influence the person or what? What is the person? Am I receiving it so that I'll give the person a favor? So those are the two things that you have to look at critically.
And I can see Pastor Abraham has this thing. So after doing out Pastor Abraham,
when you find yourself in a financial institution, that's when you really know what's the right. For instance, you are a credit officer, and the cost of processing a loan, then the customer says, "Oh, take the example, 200 cedis for the process." Well, at least the way I can see you going up and down. Then you are taking the 200 cedis. Now it is time for the loan to be given to you. You have taken the loan. Then that person defaults. And you have to supposed to go and chase the person for the loan. That is where your issue comes in. The influence. Then you will know that even taking appreciation or gift is even wrong. So once you begin to take those things from the client, you are selling yourself to the person. No matter how you find yourself, when you are even hard pressed, and it gets to that level, you should try as much as possible to go aside. Other than that, there are certain burdens you carry. You pay the person that's because you don't want the person to mention to your authorities that even in the course of what the loan, I gave you 200.
It's not your job.
That is it.
Pastor Abraham.
A friend of mine spoke to me about a favor he left for a particular woman. But he has not yet spoken to the woman. But he told me he was consistently going to, at least every week, he would give the woman a gift for about 3 or 4 months.
Wow.
And when he goes to talk to the woman will not refuse him. But to the woman, maybe he's returning a favor. But the guy's mind, he knows what he's doing.
It's true.
So are we going to consider a bribe here and a favor here? So this is our question.
That's a super question. And you know, it's about being able to distinguish between the two. And that's why I think, you know, God is so wonderful. I remember yesterday by this time, that was one question that came up that revealed a lot of things. Every day, why we are told to pray is because there are certain things that will come your way, which only God knows.
Yeah.
Those who make a mistake of not having their quiet time and prayer, they go through certain challenges. It's simply because you haven't prepared yourself for that day. So if you are among those who doesn't have regular quiet time, or those who doesn't love praying, turn around. Because every day, tomorrow, none of us knows what's going to happen, but God knows. And He's always going to tell you something. Yesterday, I remember sharing that God speaks to us in 3 ways, and that's what I have experienced. Number one, it could be in your dream. And very, very often, the dream that wakes you up is a revelation you still deal with. So normally, you are among those, you sleep like a baby. Even when it's raining, you wake up and you didn't know it rained. Meanwhile, there was lightning and thunder and those kind of people. Even if there's an earthquake, they will wake up, their whole room would have done something, but they will not know. If those kind of people can sleep through and one day there's a dream that wakes them up, you shouldn't play that dream at all. And I always advise, by your bedside, keep a certain book and a pen. If you are fast, and you can also type, but more often than not, those dreams require some instant action. So immediately, even if it's scribble, and then the next morning, wake up and look at it. You will see a message telling you something. That's one. Two, when you have your quiet time, there's a re-emphasis on a certain, some messages will come and possibly you don't get clarity. But as you read, you will get some clarity even from the Bible and possibly the devotional you use. Very often, that is the second revelation on the initial. And that's going to re-emphasize the point. And very, very often, God, knowing our stubbornness, will use another, which is someone you know or someone you don't know, send you a message, calling you, or something you hear on radio, re-emphasizing something. And the reason why we go through those is because every day the devil is planning things for us. So in response to that, very often you'll be surprised to know that he has this plan. He's been planning it 3 months in a row. But anytime he's going there, especially if the purpose is wrong, you either not see the woman, something will happen just before he gets there, or even if she gets it, she may respond in a certain way that will make him not even try the second, third, or fourth. In some instances, she may even have you be given a hint that she may know what's happening, so you should be playing along. She may not use it. For some of these things, the gift could have been influenced. So you get it, and your anointing will just carry the thing. And more often than not, as a child of God, when someone wants to test you or put you in a certain position, God will speak to you. So pray, read your word, and don't take those messages God sends through any of these mediums for granted. You will be getting a revelation and releasing it. So those who sleep too much and forget their dreams, please, tonight add it to your prayers. That, oh Lord, tomorrow night you are doing midnight prayers. Some people have not joined before. I can see their faces already, and they know themselves. So those who joined, someone joined, was it January, since they have not joined again. So add your name to the book of naughtiness. But repent. Tomorrow night, where Sir Frank says it, don't say, oh, these people, they like me. Come and join us, and the Lord will reveal things to you. But I don't know if anyone has a topper, but that is how I'll end, as I leave Sir Frank to take the rest of the proceedings. God bless us all.